it's typically a bad idea to be booted into an old kernel but have a newer kernel installed. And you can check what the booted kernel right now is. And if you compare that with the output of Pacman's installed Linux package, they should match. And they do right now. That's good. And what if you want a simple command that just tells you, yes, you are booted into the latest kernel or not? You could do some fancy bash magic. I'm not that good at bash, but I figured out a couple of things you could do. You could, for example, run an evaluation of unim r3, because you see, they don't really overlap. There's some parts that actually match, but some parts are different. So for example, we don't care about this part Linux in this start. And also, this one has a dash, while this one has a dot, so it's very annoying. So if you want to really compare these two strings, we need to do some magic beforehand. So if I just run this, it will not evaluate to true. You can see here the status code was 1. That's the bash way of telling us that this is false. So what needs to change? This one needs to become a dot, and this first part needs to get removed. How do you remove a space separated field? You can use cut for that. So you can cut away with the delimiter of space, because the delimiter here is space. And we get the second field. So let's actually just look at that instead. Yes, okay, so we got this part, the second field. Good. Now the only part that's different is this dash. So we could try to replace this dot with a dash, or we could try to replace this dash with a dot. I feel like it's easier to just... Actually, you know what? What if we just replace all dashes with dots in both strings? That seems kind of... it should work. So if we use sed, replace dash with dot on the entire string globally. Yep, that worked. Yeah, we can try to construct the comparison again. So now what needs to change here? We also want to replace the dashes with dots. Okay, and hey, it works! Because now the status code is 0. This is true. Awesome. Now, we could make an alias, and we could like do we could do this, or if it's false, then we something like this. That's it. That's all we need. But I don't really love this bash stuff and Unix. I mean, some people think this is really aesthetically pleasing, but I don't think so. And I'm also curious, would this be faster to evaluate if you did it in an actual dedicated program? And yeah, I guess we will find out. But I want to do this in Rust because I've recently fallen in love with Rust. So here we go. I'm thinking I will call this Ank, because this is it will check if Arch has a new kernel. That's the entire reason. And I don't want to use any dependencies. This simple operation should really be possible without any crates. So let's try it. So this is the command that we're trying to replicate inside Rust world. Here we are in the Rust program. I'm using NeoVim with Rustation NVim, so it just does Rust handlers and everything for me. So it should just be smooth sailing. What do we need to do? We need to launch a subprocess. Oh, let me just copy the command we had previously. So this is the command we're trying to replicate. What parts of this can we actually do in the Rust world and not have to rely on bash and shell expressions? This part, manipulating strings, we could probably do that just in the Rust world. And also this chain, like this pipeline, could also be replaced with string manipulation. And of course echoes and if cases. So how do you launch a subprocess like a command like uname-r inside Rust? There's something called command. I don't really remember the syntax, but I can see right here in the preview. Oh, you just give it the base command and then the args as a slice. Okay. So we want to launch uname with the arg -r. That's it. And what do we get out of this? We get a command. And how do you run it? You do .output. And then we want to see just the std out. And this can fail, so it's a result. I think maybe it's easier to make the main command fallible. So we can make this a result with a unit OK variant and it's probably easiest just to do a dynamic dispatch, like a boxed dyn error. So we want to grab the output of this command, and it's a fallible process, so it returns a result. So we can use the question mark operator to propagate it outwards, and then we want to grab the standard out. So this is how you get the standard out of a command. So this is just call it uname std out. I think this returns a vector of U8, so it's actually the raw bytes. I think it would be easier for us if we create a string from it, but this might be like a performance bottleneck, but that's what I would do. So I think let's just do it. We do a string from UTF-8 because we hope that this is UTF-8 bytes. And is this also fallible? I think so. This returns a string. I mean a result of a string. So we have to propagate the error. Okay. So now we have the actual string. Hopefully we have the string. We can check it if we debug it. And oh yeah, this is complaining because it wants a result as a return value of the main function now. So if we get down here, then the program was probably okay. So we just return the okay. We could write return okay, but that's not very rusty. We can just omit the return. Yeah, even Clipper will tell me like, you don't need to do this. I'll need a return statement. Okay, let's run this. So it seems to have worked. It has a new line, but we don't really, it doesn't matter for us. Yeah, so we have a string now representing what we saw before. Great. And now I think we need to do just the pacman output. So we're running pacman with the args, so it's multiple. And this one takes just anything that can be turned into an iterator. So for example, a slice, that's what they had in the example. With the flag QE, where the package is Linux. Yep, that should work. We can just double check it too. Yep, just what we saw before. So now, in the same way here, we need to slice up, remove Linux from the first part here, and probably just replace all dashes with dots. And that should be it. We should be able to compare them. So, question is, should we make this a mutable string as we muted it? Or can we use just some string slicing to get what we want? I don't know. Let's try. because actually to get the second part of here, we could just use a string slice. But then, what do? Do we mutate it? Maybe we need to mutate it. So maybe we can create some semantic names for the actual version we get out. We can make booted kernel, that's what we get from the uname. That's uname.std out, but then we need to, what? We just replace the dashes with dots. That's what we can call that the final result. So probably strings have like replace all matches of a pattern with another string. So replace dashes with dots. And what do we get? A result, or we get a new own string. Okay. Great. I don't know. Maybe we should just not do mutable. Should we just create a new string? Maybe this is very stupid and performance bottleneck. This is the installed kernel from Pacman. And we can get it by splitting, I think. Oh, there's a lot of commands here. I wonder which one would be best for this case. It seems like if you use the split white space, we get an iterator, and then we grab the nth one. But this might be the wrong way to do it, because this would skip the first element and get the second one. We can just look at it. Maybe it's fine. Oh yeah, it returns an option. Okay. So let me just remove this stuff. And this I don't even care about. Let's do it one more time. Yeah, so we got the dashes gone here, and here we got the second field. Good. So now we just need to replace, we need to unwrap this sum type and replace this dash with a dot, and then we can compare them. We should be able to. The question is, how do we unwrap this option type? I'm tempted to just use expect, but that is a runtime crash. Should we maybe create a new error? Because, you know, we have a main function that is fallible, so we wanna, I mean, this should be impossible unless Pacman is like acting weird. So whose fault is that? I feel like a panic is the bad idea to do here, because you should only really use panic in a extreme scenario. So what if we, I think okay or is the correct way to do this. Like, it's considered an error if this is not sum. So that's where we need to transform this into a result. Yeah, I think we should probably do okay or, and then you give it an error type. Is it fine to do a string here? Like, Pacman is misbehaving. This is probably wrong. Is it not? Really? And do we need to, yeah, like this, we need to propagate it. Does that work? Let's debug it. Oh, I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna be harder. Yeah. So, last part, just replace this dash with a dot. Should we just do it in a one-liner? Maybe it's starting to get really unreadable, but it's still, I mean, this is... actually, should we do the replacement in the comparison? Let's just do it here. Let's just do it here. So, what do you think? Are we ready to do the actual comparison? If the booted kernel is equal to the installed kernel, then we're golden. Like you are, what do we use here? We said yes using lazy kernel. And else. And we still wanna, in this else case, we still wanna return like the OK variant. It's still successfully found out that we are not using the latest installed kernel. Like this. And that should be it. So why the hell is it telling me like I need to reboot? We confirmed before that I don't need to reboot. So let's do a little bit of debugging. Yeah, let's just print them. And we can't just debug it here, but then because then we move the string into here. So let's just take a reference to it. And same here. And let's look at it. So, oh, this one ends with a new line. This one doesn't. That's annoying. How did that happen? Didn't they both have a new line before? Did I replace? Oh, this one splits white space. Ah, I think new lines are white space too. So should we literally split it by like the space character? I think that's probably a simple solution. Can we do it like that? Yep, that works. Now it keeps the new line because I just don't want to manually remove it or something weird. Great. That's it. So how small is this program right now? Let's just build it in release mode. And you see how fast it builds because no dependencies. That's great. That's not very common in Rust. We usually have a lot of dependencies. So it's like 500 kilobyte. That seems like a lot for just this simple stuff. Can we make this smaller? Maybe, because you can use like optimized release flags. I use it in one of my projects. These ones are pretty useful. Some of these have to do with performance, and some of these have to do with code size. So let's just see if it does anything in the cargo.toml. We don't even have any dependencies, so we can just remove that field. Okay. Let's try it one more time. And it's actually slower to compile now because it does much more optimizations. Yeah, a little bit smaller. I would suspect that a C program is much smaller than this. And actually, funnily enough, just a bash script would be smaller because it's just text. This is machine code, so it would be bigger. Okay, that's it. See ya.